don't know me, my name is Tia Tran, and as we were thinking about what to talk about today, I was thinking about all the great things that I love about our opportunity, about our business, and I think the list was endless, but somewhere in the top of that list was the fact that I get to work with the people I really care about and want to see win. And when I looked at that list of all the people I cared about, on the top of that list was my husband, Peter. Yes, one thing I love about the business is that I get to work alongside Peter, my husband, and that's something that I feel like was a personal hack of mine in the business and in life, is the fact that I got him as a partner. And when I look at all the people that I have in our lives, I think I'm not much of a gambler, but if I did have to make a bet, I would probably bet on Peter every single time. So if you guys are here, at the last event, you probably noticed that Peter introduced me last time and I did the majority of the talking. So just like any marriage, compromise is key. So this time, I'm going to be doing the introduction. Peter's going to be doing most of the talking, so give it up to my husband, the father of our 3 kids, body of, who's Bruce Lee? Yeah, body of Bruce Lee. Give it up to Peter Tran.
Thank you guys. Give it up to my beautiful wife, Tia Tran. So, I want to start out and say that, there's nowhere else I'd rather be, guys, than right here, right now, with everybody in this room. Because Tia and I, the one thing that we truly believe in, is we believe in the power of showing up consistently. And we have been in this business for 10 years, right? We're in this business for 10 years, we've been showing up to every event, and we believe that if you can, in order for you to win in anything in life, you have to learn how to show up first. And through showing up in this business, we have learned a lot of things. And before we got into the business, I always used to be a manager at a restaurant, so I was managing a restaurant. I really understand the operational aspect of how a restaurant works. I understand the hard stuff and all of that. And then we moved on and we started our own food truck business. So I started to understand the financial aspect of running a business as well, right? And along with our Primerica business, I started realizing that there are really a lot of major advantages to having a Primerica business. Just similarly to a lot of the things that Josh was saying, guys, our business opportunity is so unique. So I'm gonna go over some of the things that really separate the food truck business, the food service business versus building a Primerica business. So who here worked in the food industry before? A lot of people, right? So now when we work in the food industry, and when me and Tia, we had our first food truck, we were so excited. This is was a dream for me. I always wanted to own my own business. So we started thinking, yeah, if we can have 1 truck, we can get 2 trucks. So we're thinking to open a 2nd truck, a 3rd truck, and eventually get a brick and mortar. Right? That's the ultimate goal. And as we were expanding from 1 truck to another, we realized that there's cost to expanding in regular business. It costs more money to go from 1 truck to a 2nd truck. We had to take a loan, buy another truck, find more space to operate, and rent out another kitchen. That's all cost money, right? So the problem wasn't that we didn't want to expand, we couldn't move as fast as we wanted to because we did not have enough capital. And we had to go into debt to expand. And then from coming to Primerica and understanding that debt is not something you want to get into. You want to get out of debt, you want to stay debt free. So because we came around, we showed up and we learned that, we made a decision and we started thinking, well, vice versa, in our Primerica business, if we wanted to expand. If we make a decision to go out there and recruit 10 people, get 10 of them licensed, our team grew 10 times. We don't have to spend a single dollar for that, guys. Primerica is gonna invest into those agents that we hire. They're gonna pay for the office space, they're gonna pay for the instructor, and they're gonna license those agents without costing me and Tia a single penny. So is it better to expand this business or is it better to get into debt and expand the food service business? This business, right? And on top of expanding the business, there are other things that's really, really also stood out to us. The profit margin of the food service business. So if you're in food service business before, I think the average profit margin of a restaurant, let's say if you have a restaurant you're running where you're not there, you hire a team, a staff, and it runs by itself, you profit between maybe 12 to 15% profit of your revenues, right? So we run a food truck business, and our profit margin is higher because we don't have overhead. We don't have as much overhead as a regular restaurant. So we profit between 25 to 30%. Meaning that if we generate $40,000 revenues, we only make between 12 to 14,000 in profit. The majority of it goes to a food cost, employees, and everything is up. Right? In Primerica, last month, me and Tia, we actually reconnected with my aunt who we lost connect for like 20 years. I moved here in 1998 as an immigrant from Vietnam, just in case you guys haven't figured that out yet. My aunt, we met her back then, and then we reconnected, and through conversation and just talking to her, getting to know her, we realized that, she have accumulated a little over $1 million for retirement, and she's retired now. And she had an advisor that was helping her. And just like Sheila, clients, the majority of her money was sitting in cash, not growing, and she was being charged 1% advising fees. So she was getting charged basically about $10,000 a year on this money, and it was invested. We review her statement for her, move her money into something that's invested now, so her money can grow and it's protected growth. And through that conversation, we made $20,000. It didn't cost us a single dollar to have that conversation, guys. She's in a better position. That was pure profit, all profit. If we made $20,000 in the food truck business, we only made about, like 4,000 or 5,000 of that. So it's so important, and we realize that it's more important for us now than ever to continue to invest our time in growing the Primerica business, because we see a way out of it. The another issue was we were expanding our business, and I was getting out of the first food truck and I was getting into the second food truck, was that my profit margin was going down on the first one. My sale was going down because I was no longer there. The owner wasn't in the truck anymore, so the service wasn't the same, the food wasn't the same, the quality go down, and therefore we have more complaint. And the thing about food service is you can do the right thing for 10 years, but if you messed up on 1 or 2 events, and there's that Google review up there that said they found roaches in your restaurant, it's over, guys. That's it, 10 years down the drain, right? So that's when I realized that the infrastructure and the foundation of a food service and a food truck business is not sustainable in the long run. There was no exit strategy for me and Tia. We got into business because we wanted to find a way so that we can be at home with our kids and still make a living and have freedom of time and money. We didn't want to get into the business so that we can work like crazy 7 days a week. And that was the only way I could expand my food truck business. As I go from the first truck to the second and thinking about going to the third one, I was drained. I was never home. I was never at any of the events. And through the Primerica business versus the food truck business, most of the team that I built around in the food truck business were my employees. So as an employee, I was an employee before. I remember what it was like. I always wanted to make more money, right? But the boss didn't really want to pay me more. Because if he paid me more, he made less. He understood that. I didn't understand that. I just thought he couldn't pay me more. So what do? I quit. I go to another restaurant. I look for a better job. I felt the experience on the other end. As I spent money to grow my team and expand my food truck team, I hired, trained people, invested in them. They got better. They learned the skill. They wanted to make more money. I couldn't afford to pay them more. They quit. So now I have to keep on repeating the process of hiring new people and wasting time and money to try to build a team. In Primerica, every agent that we brought in, they are our partners. They're not our employees. We have this relationship with them where we want them to win. We want them to get promoted because the company incentivizes us to promote our team. Just like Josh said, if we promote a broker and that broker becomes a successful office, they will pay us $100,000 a year passively, forever, perpetually. So one business where everything can go wrong because that person, my main guy, could quit and now it's all over for me, versus the other business where I get to build a team of independent, strong leaders whether I'm here or not, they still gonna be thriving and running their own business. So at the end of the day, guys, what I believe and what I learned is that if you don't build your dream, someone else will hire you to help build their dreams. We have the opportunity to build our own dreams here, guys. Let's get it done.